afternoon and welcome to THFC Till I Die, Tottenham of past to present. Oh, Lord Jesus. Whose phone's bleeping?
Mike,
Who's-
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm very popular, Dermot, you see.
Yeah, I know.
I've turned it on silent.
Everyone's phone's bloody bleeping. Right. No, that's just Daniel Levy sending messages to Conte what players he could be signing for the start of the transfer window. Chris is about to fall off his chair. Big up, Chris.
No, that's my other phone just exploded into pieces.
Yeah. Where do we start from here, guys? Listen, I don't know. What a performance last night. What a game. We lost 4-2 to Man City. We turned up for once, but we disappeared in the second half.
Yeah.
I just don't know. With me in this show is the Queen Ellie, who's back from her holiday. She's at White Hart Lane. You can see getting the latest news. Is Conte staying? Is he going? Is he climbing up the wall? is he trying to chase Levy round the chairman's office with the Benny Hill music playing in the background? And of course we've got R2D2 down below us making a rare appearance on our great channel. How are you? Firstly, how are you, R2D2, down the bottom there, Chris? How are you?
Still in shock after last night's 1.5 Hotspur performance. Because that's what I've renamed our club, Dermot. We're not Tottenham Hotspur no more. We're 1.5 Hotspur. We only managed to turn up for 1/2 a game.
I can think of a few names. And Ellie, how are you? Nice to have you back. Are you rested? All raring to go?
Yeah, I'm rested, and I don't know whether raring to go, raring to rant, more like.
Well, listen, I have to pop off for 2 minutes. I'm actually in the middle of trying to search out a bit of news that I'm finding, so I'm trying to confirm it before I can break it. Ellie, I leave you and Chris in charge for a few minutes.
Okay.
Chris, if you can put your phone under silent, it would be appreciated.
Yeah.
What the hell's all these notifications coming from?
You know, they always pop up when you don't. When you listen.
Big up to Carl Simpson. It says, "Good afternoon. I thought you were playing hard to keep putting the time back." Yeah, it's just been one of those days. Everything's just gone wrong from the moment I've rung up and woke up, and it keeps going wrong. We've got Simon. Big up Simon. Big up Mint Harmlek. I just put you on mute there for a minute, Chris. Big up Mick. And Mick.
Nice
Mick
to
says,
see
big
you.
up.
Sorted.
Okay, we've got Mick as well. Good afternoon, Ellie. We've got Mick. Big afternoon. He said, we've got FTSN Colin, who's a Man United fan, but a really, really intelligent Man United fan. A great man to have in the chat. Love to get him on the show one day. He says, big up panel. Disappointing result for you lot. I thought in the first 45 minutes you had City's number. It was the start of the turnaround. I don't understand why you didn't turn up in the second. Look, we've been asking that question for years, and look where it's got us. We've got Drula. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Drula. Nice to see you back. See, your auntie comes back, you come back. Your auntie takes a break, you take a break.
He's very loyal.
Very loyal to her auntie. Fair play to her. Right.
Yeah.
And then Mick says, big up Drula. Ellie, I'm going to put you in the driving seat for about 5 minutes. Okay. I have to go off and sort something out. Ellie, it's over.
Lovely. So, Chris, I set up some questions, right? I'd love to ask you this first one. Right, the first one, here we go. Do you feel Conte has let go of any power he had over Levy?
Do you know what? I think he's starting to give up, you know. I really think he's had it with the club. I think, and it's taking effect on the players.
Yeah, I agree, because his body language is all over the place.
You used to see him jumping all over the touchline and
very animated. Have we lost you, Chris? Okay, right. So what I would say is that I find Conte was very animated early doors, carried that through to the middle of the season, and now the last 4 or 5 games, he's like gone pear-shaped, and it seems like he doesn't care. He's crossing his arms like Nuno was. He's like shaking his head, and he's just very disillusioned what he's seeing. Well, he's just mirroring what us fans are thinking as well. So I think Carl Simpson's hit it on the nail. I don't understand I really don't. Also, can Teflon Maurice just admit when he's screwing up? True, because Chris was just saying to me that he's not giving up any liability, that he was at fault. I mean, that Arsenal goal, the first one, he just flapped at it and basically threw it off his chest into the net. So how he can't be blamed for that one, and his positioning has been god awful. So I mean, what do the chat think about that? If we can have your views as well while we get Chris back. I'll hopefully Dermot join us as well. But the thing is, I just feel that there's a lack of responsibility from all the players. They're all not admitting it. Like they all, like last season where Davies blamed the pitch and he blamed the rain. What else do they want to blame? I reckon they should blame their lack of football ability. That's what they should do, right? So now we got, oh God, we got FTCN. What a lovely comment. Conte seems to have lost the passion. I don't know if it has to do with the season or the people above him as to why he hasn't got the fire in his eyes anymore. I think it's a lot of everything, FTSN, Colm. You know, there's a lot of things going on in the background that we don't see as fans. And the club have closed up shop. Even the supporters trust have written to them and explained what is our direction, what are we doing with our club, where are we going. It seems like we're going on the road to nowhere. You know, Conte can only play with what he's got. He can only put out what he's got. He hasn't got any other resources. So he's got Emerson, he's got Doherty, he's got Davies, he's got Sanchez, Tanganga, Dyer. All these players are not up to scratch. You know, we've known this for years. We've been watching them for years, and they've not performed, and they've not won one trophy. They haven't got one trophy over the line, and we keep on rewarding failure. We do. You know, and I'm fed up with it. I think in the chat, let's hear what you've got to say. David Clark, right, we got Lloris for the first Arsenal goal before the cross came in. Lloris was bent over like an old lady with a Zimmer frame. I agree. He was. In his positioning was all wrong. He should have been defending his near post, and he was in the not in the middle of the goal, but he was nearer to the middle than the edge of the post. And every good goalie has to defend that near post, and he just flapped at it. So no, I don't agree with you, Lloris. You've got to shoulder the blame, mate. You've got to shoulder the blame. Now we've got Peter M saying, what a shambolic post-World Cup spell. Things were sort of okay in November, true, but have slipped since. Not good at, mostly down to player mistakes and a lack of alternative plans by Conte. Depressing. The thing is, we can throw it at Conte for lack of alternative plans, but when you think about it, even when he puts on another plan, it doesn't work. Maybe he puts it on too late. I would agree with that, because he's got to give players time to affect the game. But his game management is not up to scratch so far. But he has to improve. He has to be told, look, if you can't see it happening, change it quicker, please. Because, all right, you haven't got that much to change it with, but like when you put a few players in the mix, especially players like Brian Hill and Pape Sarr, who've shown a bit of fire in their bellies, and even someone who's homegrown like Ollie Skip, you know, he hasn't got full fitness yet, and then he drops him, and then he's going to go back to scratch one and not have that match fitness. Is very, very important. Take it from me. You all know, I don't have to preach that. Match fitness is key to whether you're going to last the 90 minutes. And obviously, he doesn't feel Ollie Skip can. But don't drop the boy. Put him in the midfield three so that he helps out Højbjerg and Bentancur this time. But if you're playing a two in midfield, it's not good enough. Sorry. Come on, Conte, get your act together. So Carl Simpson always puts in really good comments. Lloris' positioning has been awful. Even the second Arsenal goal, Aldegaard was 30 yards out and Lloris had clear sight, telling me he can't get to it. He could have got it to it, because I remember a similar shot, which wasn't as good as Odegaard's, from Marcus Edwards. and that was a similar distance as well, and he missed that one as well. And these are sort of bread and butter for Lloris in his prime, but obviously he's not. He's lost his prime. He has, because obviously he should be saving shots like that. They're 2 and 1 a penny for him normally. Now we've got SCN, Cole need to replace Hugo in my spare time. I'm a qualified goalkeeping coach. The way he is getting beat at his near post on the regular is a big concern. From the moment you put gloves on, you're taught to cover it. True. That's what I just reiterated as well, FTSN. A very intelligent comment there. Now we've got David Clark. A goalkeeper's first job when a cross or shot comes in from the touchline is to make sure he isn't beaten at his near post. It doesn't matter if it is deflected, you should not be beaten. Very true, David. Now, Lloris has got to hold his hands up and take responsibility for those mistakes. Come on. I mean, he's not like a youngster. He's a seasoned professional. He should be making these saves. But he does make good saves in his defence. After that, he does recover. But once you've made the mistake and you put us behind, it's very hard for this team to recover because we haven't got the personnel always to recover. Or obviously against lesser teams like Bournemouth, when we came back from 2-0 and we won 3-2, yeah, we can do it because those teams haven't got the star players like Man City and Arsenal and Chelsea. I don't know. I'm just going to go. Right, David Clark, an unfit Bentancur made his own teammates look like pub players. Very true. And he's not even full fitness, is he, like you say, David? He's like maybe 75% full fitness and he can still run better than them, Then we've got Carl Simpson here. Sorry, wrong one. Right, so we've got Carl Simpson, exactly. David Bentancur was a different class, not even fit. True. Well, I'm on my own here, so what I'm going to do is just read out your comments and ask you to comment on the next question that I got. Let me just get it up for a second. Just bear with me while I get the next question up. Oh, dear. Right, so while I'm doing that, I'll go on there. That's the last comment. Just bear with me. Got to put my Face ID on. Right, so the next question, I'll put it to the chat because we haven't got anybody to ask in the studio. Do you feel our DNA, our style of football has been compromised under Conte's management? What do you guys think of that? Right, let me add Chris to the stream. Okay, Chris.
Right, sorry about that. I just had to use my handset.
That's okay, Chris. Right, I'll just ask the question to the chat. I'll ask it to you as well, Chris. Do you feel our DNA, our style of football, has been compromised under Conte's management?
Yes and no, but yes, he's slowed the pace right down. But in his defence, he hasn't got those players to have that style of football where what we want to play. He just hasn't got. He hasn't got the players to do it. To be fair.
Yeah, he's got
Son's gone absent without leave. Kane just does like he said, he's looking for the nearest exit now.
Yeah.
You've got Højbjerg looks fed up. You've got Bentancur just come back from injury. Kulusevski's thinking, why am I still here? And you've got the Lloris and goals constantly making error after error.
Yeah. So it's a calamity, isn't it, really? We're a bit of a shambles at the moment.
Full factory reset needed.
We've actually been a shambles for quite a while now. Even when we were beating Bournemouth, we just scraped that victory, didn't we?
Same with Leeds.
Yeah. Same with Leeds. We just struggled to beat Portsmouth. Okay, we didn't play a full strength side, but Portsmouth are like down in the dumps, and we just about beat them 1-0. So there is something fundamentally.
We've won 2 league games in 10 games.
Yeah, it's a sad, sorry state of affairs, isn't it? So I've got other comments coming in now, Chris. Going off point, what do you think of the lady's new signing on loan from Arsenal? Very good, David. I must admit, she's a very good player. I've been watching her on YouTube as well, like everybody else, because we haven't had much ladies football going. It does go live, but she hasn't been playing. So I was watching old reels of her. She's a pretty tricky character. I like the way she plays. I like her work ethic. So yeah, I agree with you, David. She's a very good signing. And we got my niece saying, but where has our DNA and style of football got us? What do you say to that, Chris?
Daniel Levy stole our DNA. That's what I say to that. Daniel Levy's stolen the DNA. We haven't got a DNA no more. We're just boring. We haven't got any DNA left. It's been put into his property investments.
Yeah, I would add to that, right? And I would say we haven't got no direction either, because the DNA is the style of your football and the club traditions, carrying on the club traditions as we play. We play a fantastic style of football, entertaining, yeah, and we were winning things. Right up until the 80s, even the 90s, we won a couple of cups, 91, and then at the end of the year. And then we won one cup since Levy's taken over in 2008. And where's it got us? Our style of football's gone backwards and we haven't got no identity.
Steve, the Tottenham we all knew is we would lose, but at least we'd lose like 4-3 or 5-4. We would attack to the very end. We wouldn't sit in our own half and just play mediocre sideways football. That wasn't Tottenham's DNA. Never. No. Not in 32 years of watching Tottenham. I've watched us play this drab, boring, non-effective, ineffective football.
I know. It's really...
it's toxic.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. Do you know what? Sometimes, like when I used to watch Spurs in the early 2000s, we were very exciting to watch. Even after, like, when we got led up to the League Cup victory against Chelsea, you know, we had bottle, we had fight. You know, this team, they don't want to turn up for both halves. They just turn up, not even for a whole half. You know, it's not like they play brilliant for 45 minutes. They don't. I've never seen 45 minutes of really passionate, go at it football against the top side as well. You can do it against the lesser sides for longer because you're supposed to be better than them. That's why you're fifth in the league. But it doesn't seem that way. When we play Fulham, I'm afraid I think Fulham are going to beat us.
Yeah, they are.
We say that.
They will.
I don't even say it because they're on form and they're peppering it around like good, fantastic side. Their movement is brilliant, you know, and exciting to watch.
Well, Ellie, David Harris hit the nail right on the head against Arsenal in the second half. We didn't improve. They just took the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
We didn't improve.
True. So basically, the Man United fan, FTSN, Chris, he's saying, to answer your question with my views, it was changed a long time ago before Conte. Obviously, you guys who watch week in, week out will have more knowledge than I do, but I can see it's not the same. Very true. Yeah, and this is a Man United fan who doesn't watch us week in, week out, but he can make an assumption that the style of play has changed. You can see it. It's clear. Then we've got Peter here saying, well, it's not an exciting game that we had under Poch, but I'd take it if it produced results. What I can't stand is watching us play badly, waiting for us to concede and give up. So frustrating. Yeah.
I agree with that, but under Poch, yeah, we had that identity of we're going to attack you no matter what's going to happen. We're going to lose this game anyway, but we're still going to attack you.
And also,
now exactly. And now it's just a slow, laborious, just non-effective, drab, dry, boring 45 minutes, if that, of us playing so poorly, go 2 goals down, then think, oh, shit, we're 2 goals down. We need to go back into the game now.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that. That ain't Tottenham's way.
True.
And it's the thing is, it's toxic right from the top right down to the players. And the problem is we still got the same deadwood toxic players that we had under Poch, the ones who got Poch sacked and put him under the bus. They've done it to Poch, they've done it to Jose, they've done it to Nuno, and now it seems like they're doing it to Conte as well, thinking, oh, he's training us too hard. We're not going to bother.
Yeah. It's very true, you know, and I find a lot of fans are saying what you've just said, Chris. It's not just one or two. It's the majority of the fans are saying they're going to throw him. They've thrown him under the bus already because there's already chat in the board that they're 50-50 whether they're going to sack him or and bring in Poch or wait to the end of the season
What's
when
the point
he's
of
going to
bringing Poch in?
What's the point?
What's the
They're
point of bringing Poch
back
in?
in. I know. I agree. I agree with some of the sites that I don't really normally agree with, right? But I do agree with them that, you know, it's like a vicious circle. Like you get one manager, then the circle goes halfway, and then they start throwing the manager under the bus. Then they throw that manager out, bring in another manager, and it's like a toxic circle of rubbish, you know,
It,
and I'm fed up with it.
it kills me, right? But the red scum down the road have yet again signed another player, and we're
Yeah,
sitting here with our hands under our asses, done absolutely sweet jack
yeah,
again.
I
And we've
know.
done nothing. They've signed another player. They've signed 2 players in a week. We've signed nobody.
I checked with a guy yesterday who's in the know, right? He said we did bid 12 million. That's an insult to Brighton. 12
That
million.
was, and also going to be 21 million plus 6 million add-ons, and they get Trossard just like that.
Yeah, because they get business done like all the other clubs. But we see where's Paratici gone as well? Where's he tied in? You know,
Do you know? I think since this Juventus thing came out about the charges and his corruption case in Italy, he seems like he's gone underground. He doesn't want to be seen.
yeah.
But that if he's our sporting director, he needs to come out and say, "This is what we're doing. This is our strategy. This is what we want to do." But nobody from the club has actually come out and said what the plan is, what we want him to achieve.
Yeah, and the Supporters Trust wrote a bloody big email to them. They didn't even respond to them. That's how ignorant they are.
But you
They're
know what,
going
Ellie?
Labour.
I wouldn't trust anything the Supporters Trust say anyway. They only
Yeah,
come out when once the fans kick off.
yeah, okay, agreed, Chris. But to not reply to them when they're the Spurs Supporters Trust, okay, we might disagree with a lot of things that they do, but not to reply to them, that's obstinate. You
Yeah,
know,
it is.
it's one kick in the face to all us fans because they don't represent us, don't get me wrong, but they are a body that supposedly cares about Spurs, you know, and they want the best for Spurs, like all of us fans do.
See,
Like,
even West Ham now have made a signing and we still haven't done nothing. Oh,
yeah, they
wow.
got Danny Ings, didn't they?
Yeah.
Got him over the line in 48 hours. And like
And
now we're on the 20th of January and nothing. No,
yeah.
only noise about Porro, but he's got a big get out clause, hasn't he? The release clause. Sorry. Whether Lee's going to pay that in instalments, that's another question. But you know, we do everything on the cheap. We're like a Del Boy club. We're like
Well,
Del.
but you know what? As Dermot put it the other day.
Yeah.
Dermot put it the other day. You've got Joe Lewis as Uncle Albert, and you've got Del Boy as Daniel Levy, and Rodney as Paratici. The Three Stooges.
I know. See, like Peter's saying, lack of cups makes us dull. We used to be called the cup specialists. Very true, Peter. Up to what was it, 2008? All right, that was our last cup. But before that, 1991, we'd won the FA Cup more than any other club. And then it went pear-shaped. Never won it since 1991. Come with Spurs. We should be at least getting to a final of the FA Cup. We haven't even made it to one final, Chris. We've made it to League Cup finals, but why can't we make it to the FA Cup final? Especially now, because teams play their lesser teams against opposition.
See, the problem is, Ellie, is this. Our board of directors think top 4 is suffice. They don't care about the trophies.
Yeah.
They don't care about what the football side comes of it, as long as they get top 4. Because once you get top 4, you've got the TV rights, you've got the sponsorships, you've got you name it, it's there because of the top 4 stance. Because you're in the Champions League, the big boy football. So it don't matter if you win a trophy or not. We could win the League Cup. We could win the FA Cup. Means nothing to the board.
To them,
As long as it doesn't mean nothing to them. As long as top four is their goal.
Yeah. And that's a shame because all it does is give you money into the club. And where does that money go? It's not going back into investments, is it? Into the team. Because we've seen they do everything on the cheap. Even Kulu I don't even think Kulu's been signed yet.
Nope, he
I think
hasn't.
just Romero's been pushed over the line. But
Yeah.
the one that we want, Kulu, who came, he can create. At least the boy can play a bit, you know. I don't know. I'm very disillusioned with Spurs at the moment. Cole
I think a
Simpson,
lot of supporters are. That's the problem. A lot of supporters now, Ellie, are all disillusioned of the direction the club's going.
yeah,
And that's the ultimate issue. All the club have to do is come out and tell us what direction they want to take. Yeah, explain
yeah,
it to us. Come out and say, this is what we're doing. We're trying to get the players in the door. We are trying our hardest. But
yeah,
nobody is coming out with a statement. They're leaving it to Conte, and Conte's hinting that he wants the players. He's saying, yeah, I need the players, but they're not giving it.
yeah,
But
true.
the problem is with Conte, he needs to come out and say, yes, I'm either signing the contract, or no, I'm not.
Yeah. And
Because
look,
this is where the confusion lies.
Chris, Cole Simpson's hit the nail on the head here. What I've said all along, us fans to Levy are just an inconvenience. It is, because he doesn't even come out and address us. Say what your plans are. Get some transparency from the board to us, so we know we know your track record, right? So we're not expecting so much from you because you will lie, and you'll skimp and scrape and you'll do all these dodgy deals just to get one signing over the line, right? Because that's what they'll do. They'll just get one signing over the line. We've got a centre back hole that needs to be filled. Poor Romero has to do 3 men's job because the rest
You
of
need a
them
right wing back. You need a right wing back, a left wing back. You need a midfielder.
Yeah. We need the
And
creative midfielder. I agree with you, Chris. I keep on saying it. Creative midfielders, they create space, they create goals, they create pockets of space for all the other players because they're clever and they can hold the ball and control the midfield. We haven't got anybody like that. We've got a box to box, and we've got a holding midfielder in Højbjerg who does progress the ball, but he's not no Modric, and he's not a Gaza who can cut defences open just like that and create 2 or 3 goals within half an hour, just like that. These players are miracle workers. We need somebody like that in our team because we're lacking creativity. And also, there's like you said, left wing back, right wing back. We've got a 34-year-old left wing back. Yeah, he's creating by assisting, but he's not scoring. So we need a scoring left wing back as well. And we also need a right wing back. So do you know what I would do, Chris? I've said this all along. Put Kulu into that creative midfield role. He's got all the attributes to do it. If they don't want to spend, put him and then buy a right wing back. That somebody who's maybe not high top, but nearly. Someone who's competent, somebody who's better than what we've got already. I think Porro might fit that role, but what I've seen of him, he's okay. He's no world beater though. What I've seen of him.
I just don't. I can't see the direction where we're going, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, it's like this. You've got Nottingham Forest signing players. West Ham are now signing players. Yeah. Right now, we're still sitting in the background, like
twiddling our thumbs.
Shall we sign him? Shall we argue over the 5 million more for Porro? And then there's rumours that we're trying to get Zaniolo on loan. Why do we need Zaniolo for what? We've got enough midfielders there already as it is.
And he's similar to what we've got.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly that. And the only difference is he's got his bandaged ankles every season. So what do we need him for?
Yeah.
But
he's had 2 ACL injuries as well. I don't know if you know that, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. And now we've got a goalkeeper who's faltering at every opportunity. So we ideally need a new goalkeeper. And me personally, I'll still go for David Raya from Brentford. I'd take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I love him. I think he's a brilliant goalie, and his positioning, and he's strong as well. You know, when he comes out for the ball, he's commanding in his box.
He's only got a year left on his contract.
Yeah.
He's got a year left on his contract in the summer. We could snap him up now.
There's a lot of noise that we might go in for Martinez. What do you think of him?
Being the next gunner, he's a good goalkeeper, yeah. But my personal choice is David Raya.
I get you on that one, Chris. So we've got Carl Simpson. He's saying Levy and Enid cannot compete financially anymore. Time to bugger off.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. But they just don't want to.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a difference between having the money and spending it on the team, because they're part of Tavistock Group, which are billionaires. They've got money, but they don't.
They've got the money to spend. They've got the money to spend, but they've put a property opposite the stadium to make their new hotel. Well, they
own half of Tottenham around that area.
Yeah, they do. And so if
they own loads.
If they say they haven't got the money to spend on the club, they're full of crap. But the thing is, they don't want Tottenham. To them is just a sports venture, conferencing centre now. That's not football. Is the last on their list.
Yeah.
And that's how it looks. Unless they come out and tell us different, that's how the supporters are going to look at them.
I remember Danny Blanchflower said football is run by rich men who haven't got a clue about football, and it's still the same today.
Well, Daniel Levy, that hits Daniel Levy on the head, doesn't it? Nail round Daniel Levy's head. Doesn't know jack shit about football, but knows about the business.
But some of them, Chris, they don't know jack shit about football, but they put in their hand in their pockets and investing in their clubs like Man City have done. All right.
See, we've got to remember one thing. Daniel Levy is a glorified accountant.
Yeah, he is.
A number cruncher.
You know what? He paid himself an £8 million bonus. How about that, eh? £8 million for what?
Yeah, £8 million bonus, which could have gone to a player.
Yeah. Could have gone, say, even on a young player's wages for the whole year. Like we got Udogie, then we loan him back. Why? Because we didn't have anybody better. Why do we loan him back? Because we don't want to pay his wages. Get the player that you didn't want, we didn't want at the club, out, like Sessegnon, or even don't get Perisic, and bring the young boy in. Oh, yeah,
exactly.
Conte doesn't work with young players. Yes, if you gave him Udogie the way he's ripping up the Serie A, sorry, but no, that's wrong.
So it's different, Ellie. That's difficult though, because Serie A and the Premiership are two different kettle of fish. Where you'll look at it,
but football is football at the end of the day. If you're playing well in Serie A, where all the defenders are trained defenders, they're real defenders, Chris. And if
that's where Romero's attitude comes from.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, I'm just making an observation. Serie A in a total aspect might not be as tough as the Premier League, but they're defenders. They can defend. They've got shithousery and skullduggery. They'll pull you down and they won't let you go past. And he's ripping them up. He's like beating them on pace, beating them on skill. What makes you think that he might not do that in the Premiership? He's better than what he's got.
That's very true. See, Conte made a very valid statement the other day. He said in Italy and other countries, the owners, the directors, the chairman, whoever, the medical staff will always come out on TV and tell the fans what they want to know. Over here in England, you don't see no owners coming out. You don't see no medical staff. You don't see none of the fitness coaches coming out. It's left to the managers to do the dirty work.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that. If there's an issue in the club, let Levy come out and tell us what the problem is.
We've got a lot of comments coming in about players that you like as well. We've got Brian Maguire saying Raya has 18 months left on his contract.
Yep.
Will always be broken. Tanganga, Dyer, Longley, Sessegnon, Royal, Doherty, Davis, Lloris all need to go. Very true. Yep. That's my niece.
Yeah,
Always
very, very true. Can't argue with that.
can't argue with that. David Clark saying when the profits come out in February, it will be more than 175,000. Right,
175 million.
175 million. Sorry. Now we've got Wayne Bonner. Thank you very much for the super chat, Wayne. Afternoon all. I'll still look at Henderson for goalkeeper. Good shout.
Mm,
Thing is, he
yeah.
hasn't played a lot. That's the problem. He's like
He
second.
was. Well,
Well,
he's
at
no, his first.
times
He's
playing,
he's
but
at Nottingham
over
Forest
the
first
last few
choice.
seasons, yeah,
At Nottingham Forest, his first choice. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll give him that. He's a good goalkeeper, yes.
yeah. He's
But
decent.
whether he can play at a big club, it's debatable.
I like that. Tottenham Hotspur Entertainment Services Corporation.
No,
Excellent.
that's exactly what we are.
That's it. Yeah, we're just a business entertainment centre with a football team as a sidekick. That's how people view us, not just us fans. Other fans view us like that. They're all laughing at us. David Clark saying, no, we loaned out Udoji back because his club would only release him on loan. That's why other clubs who wanted him didn't get him. Yeah, but we could have tried a bit harder, I think, David, on that one. You know,
We could
maybe
have
we could have
played the full release.
negotiated it. You know, we could have said to him, look, we ain't got no one.
We could have paid the full release clause.
We've got to let him go. Yeah, full release clause. It's because we don't want to pay it. That's why. That's what's coming into question. We've got Derek Hutchinson. Levy and Enid do not want to spend their own money. They need to bugger off out into the sunset and make way for somebody who wants to take this club forward. True, Derek. We need
Very
a proper
true, agreed.
person to invest in us so we can actually keep up with these other teams who are way ahead of us.
See, and I do agree with that, but then you've got to look at the other side of it. It's like, who's going to want to spend that 4.2 billion and whatever that Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis have put on top of the club's price tag? Unless you've got an oil baron or somebody from the Middle East or one of these Yank owners, it's going to be difficult to find somebody who's got that money to pay for the club.
I know, I agree with you in a way, but there's many billionaires out there who can take Spurs forward, who actually support the club as well. So I don't know. We just need somebody new to freshen things up, put money into the club, take us away from this entertainment centre. I don't know. You know, it's creating money, but as long as that money's going into the club, but it's not. It's going into their pockets. Now we've got Peter M saying Serie A is still a top league, better than the Spanish or German leagues for competitive games. I agree with you, Peter, because their defending is fabulous. I watch it week in, week out. I normally pick Udinese, and I usually watch the lesser teams because I know what the other teams play like, because I watch them a lot. But this season I thought, right, I'll give the lesser teams a watch. The Sulu are a very good team as well. All right, they're not so high up in the league, but they're doing very well, and I like the way they play. Right, what the next question I want to address, Chris, because we're pressed on time, is I've said to Dermot, I put this to him last night actually. Levy always the wife, and the managers are always the bridesmaids. Do you think that statement is true?
Yeah, and I think Joe Lewis is the father-in-law that doesn't want to be seen.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've seen the reports that Joe Lewis wants out. Yeah, if that is the case, just come out and say the club's up for sale. Let's go. Let's find somebody who wants us. But it seems like Daniel Levy's the one holding on with his fingertips, trying to hang on to the club as much as he can, so they can milk the cash cow. But then you've got Joe Lewis who's saying, you know what, I want out anyway.
Yeah, I know, because the Qatari investment sort of was a powder puff, wasn't it? Was it a smoke screen? Was it real? Was it something that was taken seriously at the club?
See, the Qatari one was only 25% because they already own PSG. Yeah, had they not owned PSG, I think that would have been a full blown. They want to take us over.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I know a lot of people disagree with me, but if they would have took us over, I would have been dancing with joy.
Yeah. So would I, because then at least you got a new owner with fresh ideas that can shake it up a bit and actually get us some proper investment on the pitch. Not investment in America or in Tottenham rebuilding things and making a cinema. What's that going to do for Tottenham? There's many cinemas close by. Why do they need one in Tottenham?
See, Ali, it infuriates me. Yesterday, again on Twitter, they've announcing that they've got another NFL fixture coming over to the Tottenham Stadium. I don't give a toss about the NFL. I'll give a toss about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
You know what, as well, I'd like to add to that, Chris, because I've done a little mini documentary that I haven't had edited yet, where I filmed a lot of residents who they're up in arms because when the NFL come, you know, it's a packed stadium for starters, right? And they close every single road leading up to the ground. And like people that want to get home in the night time or in the afternoon, whenever they play the matches, they find it nigh on impossible. And some of them are carers. They're coming home to look after old people. You know, they're going out to work part-time. They're coming home to look after the old people because they've got carers during the day. So they take over and they can't even get home on time. So they have to phone the carers to stay longer. You know, and there's loads of people that are infirmed. They can't get out of their place to go and have a little bit of a social life. They're closing all the roads. It's disgusting what they're doing. You know, that's not what Tottenham's about, is it?
No,
it's supposed to be about community. You know, and then they do all these PR things where they send players to hospitals and things like that. But behind the scenes, they're doing all these underhand stuff that's stopping the local community from commuting. You know, it's not on, sorry. And it has to be called out. I suppose I will be contacting the Tottenham Supporters Trust as well about that. And when I release my film, then they're going to get a massive shock. I'm telling you. Right. So we've got FTSN, Man United fan. Lovely to see you again. Henderson is a fantastic keeper and has a big career ahead of him, but he needs to play football in the bottom half of the table club for maybe another 2 years before he's ready. What do you think of that one then, Chris?
I think he's hit the nail spot on.
Yeah. You think he needs a little bit more time? I don't know. Because what I've seen of him at Man United, I like. But, you know, there's always that doubt. I think with your player at Brentford, right, Raya, I think he seems more accomplished and he's, you know, the shot stopping, he's positioning in the goal. He's a ready man to take over from Lloris, in my opinion, as well. Right, so let's move on to the next question. Let me just get it up, Chris. Just bear with me. So the next question is, will Conte stay or will he go? Who would you like to replace him and why?
I would like to see him to stay, but I can't see it really him staying. Why would he want to stay if he hasn't got the full support of the board? But see, this is where it is the catch-22 situation, because the board are possibly looking at it like, why are we going to invest in this guy if he's not going to sign his contract? If he signs his contract, then we'll invest in him. Yeah. But Conte could quite easily now just say, you know what, sort this, I'm out the door.
Yeah. You know what? He looks like he's going that way by his body language and his face. He's like giving up when he crosses his arms as well. I've never seen Conte do that. You know, that's a barrier in body language. You know, and he's shaking his head and he's not animated anymore. It's like he's lost his mojo. He's fed up with it. He can't put up with that football anymore. Maybe he's sending a message to the board, but they're not listening. They don't care. As long as he gets them fourth and then toddles off with 3 or 4 million payoff. But if he walks, they'll have to pay a lot more, won't they?
See, there was a lot of rumours, Ellie, that it was 20 million. He wants a pay rise of up to 20 million a year for him to sign his new contract. I don't think that is the case.
No.
I think he's just lost all faith in the board.
I thought he was nearly on 20 million anyway. So what's the
he's on 15 million a year at the moment.
He got £2 million bonus for getting us top 4, I heard. I think that was true. See, David Clark saying they are building an NFL training facility with ENIC profits.
See, why on earth would you want to do? See, this is what I mean about our club. This is the state of disarray we are in.
Yeah,
They rather spend their money on an NFL training ground than put it into the damn Tottenham Football Club. Is that what they bought? They bought Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
yeah.
This is what they should be prioritising.
They're spitting in our eye, aren't they, Chris?
Basically, it's a slap in the face.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like we've got Peter M here saying the redevelopment of Tottenham is going like redevelopments elsewhere. New money comes in, destroys the local community, and replace it with gentrification. Seen it here in South London already. Yeah,
Exactly, that's exactly it.
yeah,
Look, now you saw what the events that happened at Everton. Their new owner was building their stadium, and now the directors are too scared to go to the ground because they know the Everton fans are pissed with them. And this is what's going to end up happening at Tottenham. It's going to be a repeat performance
yeah.
because the fans are going to have to say enough's enough.
Yeah, like Derek Hutchinson's making a good point. There are enough buyers for Spurs out there. What they don't want is Daniel Flaming Levy. Yeah,
Exactly.
if they oust him completely, but I don't know, Joe Lewis's daughter as well. Why don't she just step up to the plate and take over? She's a massive Spurs fan. Surely she should do something
She's leaving it
about
to Daniel
well.
Levy. I think a lot of it is to do with Joe Lewis. He's the one who's pulling the strings in the background, saying you're leaving Daniel to do the job. You're there as a silent shareholder. You're gonna have to keep quiet. Let Daniel do the business.
Yeah,
But
true.
the thing is, when Daniel Levy brought Fabio Paratici in, yeah, he turned around and said, "I'm gonna step away from the footballing side of it. I'm gonna leave it to Fabio."
It's a
And do
lie.
you know what? It was another lie.
It's a lie.
It's a
He's
lie
always
upon
got
lie.
his fingers in the pie. Always. He's like that poisonous spider, like I said yesterday. He's like a poisonous spider that weaves his web and draws everybody into the web to catch them. And then when he's had enough of them, he just releases the web and lets them drop down like a fly, or he'll eat the fly. You know what I mean? He'll
And
gobble it
the,
up. Oh, I
and the
don't like
thing
to
is,
use that
Ellie,
analogy, but it's true.
and the thing is, what people don't seem to realize is the way Daniel Levy is operating the football club. He's driving a wedge between the supporters because now supporters at each other's throats. Whether you're Enoch in, Enoch out,
Yeah.
we're all Tottenham supporters at the end of it. But he's driving a divide into the club.
I can understand why David Clark's making this comment as well. I've supported this club since 1961, and if I wake up tomorrow and open my phone and it says Conte has gone, I would not care less because it's like dampened fan spirits. You
Agreed.
know, like you've got a winning manager in Conte. Somebody said he won only one Premiership and 5 Serie A's, but that's still an achievement, and he's won cups everywhere he's gone as well. It's still an achievement. All right, he hasn't won Serie A like Pep Guardiola, but he hasn't had the backing like Pep Guardiola. You give him that backing, don't you think he would deliver? He would. But like, I can get your point, David, that you wouldn't care less because you've come to the end of your tether, I presume. Just let us know. Let us know a little bit more. So we've got Carl Simpson saying apparently Joe Lewis isn't at all well. That is why he's transferred to two lawyers in October. But there's nothing happening on that front, Carl. We haven't heard anything since October. It's now mid-January, just gone past mid-January, and nothing's happening with the
And
sale
it's
of the
business as usual.
yeah, it's business as usual, making money for Enoch and Levy, lining their pockets. So we've got Peter M saying FTSN calm, hope so, because the Saudi takeover at Newcastle left a lot of bad feeling beyond the club. I prefer Spurs not to get involved in that sort of thing. Yeah, we want owners, but not everybody squeaky clean. Because even if you look in our Joe Lewis's past, he's got a very checkered past in Argentina. Just read up about Tavistock and what they did and what Joe Lewis, and you'll see. You know,
Exactly.
we've got this. We can throw mud We can throw mud at people, but our owners are no shrinking violets. They do underhand deals as well, and they do lots of things, bribery in Argentina. You know, you've got to look at these things as well. See, look, like David Clark saying profits for a NFL franchise is billions. Football can't compete regarding profits. And Lewis and Levy, I think Joe Lewis has put his family trust in the hands of 2 lawyers and his daughter's takeover. I think his daughter will take over. What do you think, Chris?
Do you know what? Probably, but I would still rather see the club sold to somebody who actually cares about the football than have them in charge. Because at the end of the day, they've created a poison within the club and a divide between the supporters and the club itself. So I think the damage they've done is too much now to be repaired.
Yeah. Well, to repair it is going to take quite a number of years because, first of all, you've got to get the team right. You've got to get the team investment right and bring in the right players who, do you know, Newcastle, they did something very, very clever, right? They took the analyst off of Liverpool and brought him to Newcastle. And now look where Liverpool are, look where Newcastle are. That's a big difference. Analytic, how far you run, how hard you run, what your stats are on a whole, not just on assists and goals, what you do off the ball, what you do on the ball, and they've employed this guy and their results. It's not all down to how. This guy is a miracle worker. What he did for Liverpool, Champions League and league title, they hadn't won it for 30 years. And he got them over the line.
The difference is between Newcastle and Tottenham is Eddie Howe went to the owners and told them exactly what he needed, and they provided him what he needed. He told them he wanted a new goalkeeper. They got him a new goalkeeper. He told them I want a new centre back. They got him a new centre back. He told them I want a centre midfielder. They got him a centre midfielder.
Yeah.
They got him everything he wanted, and now look how successful they are. Conte's gone to Daniel Levy. I want this player. I want this player. I want this player. All right, we'll get you a second-rate player.
Yeah.
We'll get you another second-rate player, and we'll get you this one. When you just have to make do with it.
Oh no, it's ridiculous.
Conte went to Levy because I want a right wing back. All right, we'll buy you Jet Spence. No disrespect to Jet Spence, but I don't think that's what Conte had in mind.
True. Look, David Clark, profits from NFL franchise billions. People can't compete regarding profits. And Lewis and Levy, I think Joe Lewis put his family trust. Yeah, I've read that one already. Sorry, David. Peter, Joe Lewis made his billions in the plan on Black Wednesday. Yep. Then you've got Peter M again. That's the problem with football, is getting corrupt and honest clubs can't compete anymore. Very true. Very true, Peter.
But we've got dishonest owners.
Yeah. Nothing is happening regarding his trust because it only comes into being when Joe Lewis passes on. Then it would be read out, and I think he has put in there that his daughter would take control. That's what I think as well. Because do you know what? If his daughter does take control, I've heard on the grapevine that she's a very, very big Spurs supporter. She loves the club. And I've heard it from ex-players as well, not naming any, but, I've heard that she's got her heart where her wallet is. That's what we want, her heart where her wallet is, yeah? And, move the club forward, do a proper investment so we can compete. Because the gulf between Man City and Spurs, you think Man City hadn't hardly won anything before their big owners came in. Now they've cornered the market. I think they've won 4 out of 5 premierships. 4 out of 5. Liverpool are the only ones who broke them. Yeah.
See, the smartest move is if Joe Lewis was to pass away and his daughter took control, would her be removing Daniel Levy as chairman, making somebody who knows what they're doing, a football person as a chairman, not him.
Yeah.
That would be the smartest move for Joe Lewis's daughter to do. Is to take him out of control.
Yeah, she doesn't. I know. If she's going to take control, she won't want him there. That's plain and obvious. So, you know what? He's made his packet off of the back of Spurs, right? And he hasn't given two hoots about the fans. He done that stupid interview.
Liar.
Oh my God, that
Liar.
interview. Oh, David Clark saying nothing is happening regarding his trust because it only comes into play when Joe Lewis. Yeah. So Carl Simpson, I'm sure her heart is in it. Being a Spurs fan, I'm just worried about all those snakes around her. She wouldn't get rid of Levy. I just hope she does, Carl, because I want to see
Coach, you never know. You never know, Cole. We could cross our fingers. She might just see where is the problem is and just eliminate it. And I think the bulk of it is Daniel Levy.
Yeah, like he's built the stadium, fair dues, but he's put the club into 30-year debt. You know, it's not as if we went £500 million over budget as well on the stadium. So they couldn't even get that right. They couldn't even get the stadium into budget because I think they earmarked £500 million and they went to 1 billion, and now they've put the debt into America with a small interest rate. Yeah, but we're still going to be paying it for 30 years.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. So if we're in debt with that, scrap building the NFL training ground and pay the debt back.
Yes, but that's not the way the club want to move, do they? They want to go into that direction. So then we're not going to be a football club. We're going to be an NFL club, are we? So what's going to happen to Tottenham Hotspur? We're going to disappear. Oh, I mean, I played for Tottenham Hotspur ladies, Chris, and it makes me angry that this is happening at our club, and all our supporters. We've got to do something about this, because if it goes on any longer, we've been putting up with it for years, right? And the fans, we're trying to protest, right? But there's not enough build up. Now we need a big surge towards this Levy out business, so that we can get power behind it. Like there's people like Brian Daigle, and all his crew, that are trying their best, but they need more help,
Yeah, I get that, but at the end of it, it's one thing and one thing only. Unless Daniel Levy goes, which is highly unlikely, we're going to be stuck in the same rut season after season. The only thing I could see forward for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club now is a full reset. That's the only thing I could see. See, people are up in arms about Harry Kane leaving, this player leaving. People better understand one thing and understand it well. We were Tottenham Hotspur before Harry Kane, and we'll still be Tottenham Hotspur after Harry Kane.
That's it. I mean, Harry Kane, he's been a fantastic servant to Spurs, but we've not won anything because we haven't invested for him. I don't blame Harry Kane for that. I blame the club.
Yeah, the club's responsible.
He stuck by us when he wanted to get his move. He stuck by us eventually. He woke up about a quarter of the way through the season, but now this season he's carrying.
He was false promised. He was false promised by Levy. Oh, we're going to bring Antonio Conte in. Things are going to be different. We're going to sign players. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And do you know what? Not one thing came to fruition. We got Conte, and look what happened.
Yeah. So I'm moving on to my last question now, Chris. If Conte gets the sack, do you think that's the final nail in the coffin for Levy and Co?
Yep. The fans ain't going to be pleased, and I'll tell you what, it'll be on Levy's head, be it that Conte walks or gets sacked.
Yeah. And statements like this by David Clark: Joe Lewis ran his father-in-law's business, and as soon as he died, Lewis sold the business. That's ruthless. It is. It's like there's no loyalty. That's your family. You'd want to run your family's business. Why would you just sell it just straight away? Because you haven't got a heart for your family. So what makes you think he's got a heart for Tottenham Hotspur? He doesn't even come to games anymore.
Ellie, look, this is my last statement, and I've got to leave because I've got things to do, right? But
yeah, of course,
right, it's as simple as this, yeah. If Joe Lewis once Joe Lewis passes away, we need to see which direction the club goes, whether his daughter takes over or the club's sold. But while the likes of Enich and Joe Lewis, Enich and Tottenham are intertwined, it's a poison chalice, and we're screwed.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We've got no direction until they go.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we're still stuck with them, and we all support the club. And we're all going to support the club no matter what.
100%.
But the problem is the club's turned toxic. It's turned into a toxicity where the owners are versus the supporters, and really, you look at other clubs like, for example, Leicester City. The one who passed away, bless God rest his soul.
No.
He brought a peace towards Leicester. He brought the club and the old owners were at each other's throats. He came in and brought a dignified peace. And until Levy and Enid go, there's not going to be no peace at Tottenham.
True.
And there won't be.
Those Leicester owners, Chris, right? They won the league championship and they won the FA Cup on little resources, really. All right, they invested a little bit in the second season when they won the FA Cup. But when they won the league, they I think they bought 3 players, no more than any other club, right? And yet they won the league and they won it. Really, they won it 1-0, 1-0 here, 1-0 there. They scraped through it, but they won it. You know, they got it over the line. And like Peter M saying, if Conte is sacked, Levy ought to suffer, but he probably won't.
Nope, not at all. And anyway, Ellie, it's been great story speaking to you.
Thank you very much for coming on, man. You're going to be part of our channel 100%.
Yeah, I'll be on back on this evening.
Mate, you make it.
I'll be back on this evening at about 7:15 with Dermot anyway. But as I said, until Levy and Enid go, we're basically going to be in the same rinse, repeat, go again.
Lovely. Thank you very much. You've been a star, mate. Been a star. Lovely. So look, we're going to leave it at that, guys and girls. Thank you very much for everybody in the chat. Press that like button, press the subscribe button. And if you can become a member, that would be fantastic because it will support our channel to go onwards and upwards. We're trying to do our best for you. As you know, Dermot had to leave us early today because he had something really urgent to sort out. So, but we thank everybody in the chat. Fantastic comments as usual. Oh, really great debate, you know, and we'll see you next time. And as always, Levy out. Bye-bye.